Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Curry, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode advice on flirting. And I think this is one of those things where most people get it a little bit wrong with it. Because a lot of people, when it comes to flirting, they flirt when they are prepared to, or at least trying to go and have sex. So they think about, okay, I would like to have sex maybe in the next hour or so. So let me start flirting. And generally, the way I see flirting is more of if you want an orgasmic experience that is going to be amazing, you have to look at it so it's like taking off a plane. So the shorter the runway, the smaller the plane, meaning that the shorter time that you've got in terms of trying to get somebody to seduced, um, the less likely it might actually happen, or the more less interested they might be. But if you take a longer runway with it, then your chances are much higher. So instead of flirting just before you have sex, is a is not the way that I would do it personally. I would just have a habit of flirting every single time, and with no real intention of um, getting sex per se. But for me, I'm also trying to measure where I'm at in terms of her response. So the way I see it is usually that within sex, it is cold, warm, and hot. So where is she within this spectrum? So we're cold as in no sexual interest whatsoever, and then warm as in okay with what's going on, and um I'm most likely to feel aroused and willing to go and have sex. And then really hot is like, get your clothes off now, let's make it happen. So I started figuring out where am I within this spectrum, and flirting is what sort of moves you along. And I mean, when I say flirting, in within the tribesman world, we call it attraction into seduction. So within that framework, I'm using attraction pieces, or at least the attraction tools, to then move myself along, and then move myself from warm too hard. When I mean hot, then I'll be doing the seduction pieces. And again, this completely different worlds, because most people, they sort of seduce somebody in order to gain attraction, which is probably the wrong way of thinking about it. You have to get that person to be attracted, which is them getting to like you. And once they like you, then they're most likely to then be compliant within seduction. So there's quite a few things when it comes to flirting, is that when you are doing it, there has to be no outcome dependency. What that means is that there shouldn't be any massive goal. In fact, um sorry, yeah, the you have to change the goal, actually. Sorry, not to, yeah, there must be a goal, but the goal should be collecting fun. So yeah, I don't know if you know those games. Was it Sonic or something, where the Sonic is running and then he's collecting coins, or Super Mario or something like that, where they are collecting something. It should be like that, where you're pretty much collecting positive moments within the relationship. So you're continuously collecting positive moments. Those positive moments, when you accumulate them over a period of time, for her, she will look at this and she will make like a judgment of the relationship and say, "Wow, this is quite fulfilling. This is quite exciting. I love this relationship." And then all of a sudden, this is what makes it open up to attraction, open up to seduction. So a lot of people, they collect negative associations because they've been rejected over a period of time. So there is that rejection, that resentment that's built up, and again, that fear of rejection sometimes influences how you flirt. So you're sort of half flirting as well. So because you just almost bracing yourself for that inevitable rejection, and because you've got this outcome dependency as well, it puts a lot of sexual pressure on her, and then her seduction resistance goes up. So this is why a lot of it is it's a little bit convoluted when it comes to the approach of flirting and so on. People, it feels forced, and when you feel it feels forced and it feels like you're chasing. Um, no, I'm not chasing. If it feels like you're desperately wanting to have sex and you're doing things coming from that place, she'll feel that and it will work against you. So this is a very, very important thing when it comes to flirting, that it's you take out any expectation for sex, you take out any dependency on wanting to have sex, but then you focus on having a really fun vibe. And in fact, I'll go as far as saying that you are focusing on you having fun more than you are trying to make her have fun, because again, that's a lower frame. It's not a dominant frame when you are trying to make her laugh, and because it now comes across as that you're trying too hard, again, which will make you feel a negative way. Whereas if you are focused on making yourself have fun and be interested in just like we call it self amusement. So I focus on self amusement. Focus on making me laugh, enjoying, and then I just invite her into that scenario that I'm doing. So when I tease her in terms of just making jokes or having a bit of banter, I'm doing it because I find it funny. And this is the example of this is comedians. If a comedian goes out there trying to make you laugh, and they're so go yes, of course they want to make you laugh, but they have to find that joke funny first before you find it funny. If they try and make you laugh because they think that this joke is going to make you laugh, they will bomb. So the guy has to really think that this thing is funny, and guy has to think it's sin. He has to think in a way that makes it interesting for himself. In fact, the perfect example for this is that if you think of your favorite comedian, if you transcribe what he says and then you read it, you'll be like, oh God, this is not funny. So you have to. The comedian thinks that, that those things are funny, and then therefore he transfers all of that. So this is very important that it again becomes self amusement. So in fact, I'm just going to end it here soon. Just to recap, you know, you have to have self amusement. You have to think of the runway. How long? Uh, the longer you're in flirting, the better it is in terms of getting to your destination where she's fully aroused. You have to think about the fact that there's cold, warm, hot. So you can gauge her sexual interest based off of that. Hot has been her sexual interest is as they speak. So you can move that along through attraction and then move transition into seduction. And really it's not about you doing a seduction in order to get attraction, because they're just two separate pieces. So thank you very much, guys. Hopefully that's been something that's helpful in terms of just figuring out how what flirting is and how that works within um, getting more of that within a sexless relationship. Because when it comes to a sexless relationship, uh, the flirting stuff is actually compounding on the problem, because you're offering up sex which she was already feeling uncomfortable anyway. So really it's more about collecting positive associations in order for her to then over a period of time look at it and start seeing sex from a positive tone rather than a negative tone. So thank you very much, guys. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.